Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to BowlTV. My name is Matt Canizaro, and we are now live here at the Samstown Bowling Center. We've got day 2 of match play here at the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. 32 players remain. We started the week with a field of 272, and we've narrowed that down first to 64 for our double elimination match play bracket, and now to our final 32. Joined today by Bruce Hall, super senior standout, and he bowled this week as well, so some great insight coming our way, some expert analysis. He's already got notes, and we're ready to go here. Bruce, how are you today?
Good morning, Matt. Great to be back with you. Got some great matches coming up and some interesting stats from out of yesterday that we'll talk about.
All right, our 2 featured matchers here. We're on lanes 19 and 20. 21 and 22. Our match on the left, we have Michael Haugen Jr. Right now, he's the front runner for PBA 50 Player of the Year, just at the halfway point of the season, but he is out in front in the points race. He's taking on Dave Sims from Storm Products here. So nice year for the Storm folks, both at the Masters and the Senior Masters, and we'll see if Dave can keep this run going. All these players in the winners bracket, 16 in all, are 2-0, undefeated. Of course, it's a double elimination event, and the other 16 players all in the elimination bracket, well, facing elimination at this point. And our other match here, also a winners bracket match, our defending champion, Walter Ray Williams Jr., taking on Don Breeden. And Walter Ray looking to become the first bowler since Tom Baker in 2007 to win back-to-back at the Senior Masters. Also would make him the first player in history to win the event 3 times. So pretty cool step there. Walter Ray also the only bowler to win both the Masters and the Senior Masters twice. Another player who won both events was Dave Sutar. In 1973, he won the Masters, and then in 2000 came out and won the Senior Masters. So a lot of history, a lot of potential. In listening to the announcements before the squad, Bruce, it appears that Walter Ray is the only past champion among the top 32. Therefore, there's only a 1 in 32 chance we'll have a repeat champion this year.
That's low odds, but you're talking about Walter Ray, and I think he's playing his A game off the corner, so I like his chances here. Unfortunately, he's against the hot hand of Don Breeden, who's come off sets of 775 and 781, and as we watch him throw his dull right up 3-4, I think he's lined up absolutely perfectly. And Don's comment to me was that he's not hitting the hole any more or less than he did in qualifying. He's just carrying now, which is a dangerous combination for Breeden because he's so clean and so straight up the lane. And you mentioned some rivalries going on. Walter Ray looking to win the event again, and that would put him back in the lead for PBA 50 Player of the Year this year. Right now, that lead held by Michael Haugen, who's on our feature pair as well, by a slim lead of about 150 points out of 12,000. So very close between these two guys. They've faced each other on TV twice already with 1 each, 1-1 in those matches, and both just having their way on the PBA 50 tour this year.
All right, all these matches are 3 games. Total pinfall determines who advances, or in the elimination bracket, who goes home. And we have 16 matches going on across the house right now. That's Walter Ray. Tomahawks the 10 there on lane 22, so he likes that lane. We'll see if he can get lined up on lane 21. We'll give you a quick rundown here of the other matches. Brian Kretzer taking on Chris Warren. Christer Peterson of Sweden taking on Brian LeClaire. These are elimination bracket matches. If you want to look at the live scoring, here's a trick that we learned yesterday, by the way. If you go to bowl.com/Senior Masters, there's a results tab, and then within that is the live scoring link. But in the live scoring, once you get there, they have it color-coded for us to make it easy. If there's a red bar on the scoring line, that is the elimination bracket match. If there's a blue bar, then we know that is a winner's bracket match. So we'll go back here in the elimination bracket. Kretzer and Warren, and then Peterson and LeClaire. And a winner's bracket match between Michael Calvin, the number 64 seed, and the Hall of Famer Norm Duke. Norm Duke looking to join Sutar and Williams in winning both events. Chris Warren would fall into that category as well. Another winner's bracket match, Harry Sullins and Noel Vasquez. Then, of course, our two featured pairs here. Just to our right in the winner's bracket, Ron Moore and Keith Lesko. And then Daryl Bauer and Alan Seneval, also from Sweden. Very animated, so if we get to see him at some point.
Guys, we're told there's an echo on the line, and so Matt has gone to check that out. Meanwhile, we'll continue to call the matches here. Here's Walter Ray up trying to catch Don Breeden. And we've got basically a 10-pin match also between Haugen and David Steins. The question on the Steins match is who wants to bite the hand that feeds them? Mark Williams faced Steins yesterday, Sims yesterday, of course, and Sims an executive at Storm in Utah. And Williams just fell to Sims yesterday, and I don't think it's anything about throwing these matches. I think Dave Sims bowling great, and just matched Haugen's triple, and only down 2 sticks now. Flat 10 for Walter Ray. That's going to put that match exactly even with Don Breeden. And we talked about some of the stats that have come out of yesterday, and Sims knew he got that one a little fast. 2-4-10. And some of the stats of our top 10 qualifiers, 5 have already been eliminated in the relatively early going, and that would include our top seed James Campbell, Pete Weber, Brian Goebel, Darren Peters, and Leto are out. And we've got 3 in the winner's bracket, Michael Haugen, Noel Vasquez and Keith Lesko, and 2 in the loser's bracket, Brian Leclerc and Chris Warren. And there's a good shot by Breeden. Again, Breeden with the A-game look. Just the right equipment. Just whacking them straight up. Haugen as well. And kind of looking through the qualifiers, you kind of have 2 broad categories. Guys that are either regional players or good tour players, not Hall of Famers, but have an A look. And I would call that guys like Keith Lesko, Don Breeden, some others. Then you have guys who are Hall of Famers that may not have their A look, and I would put Ron Moore in that category, but he'll figure out a way to make it work. And then you have the cross-section of Hall of Famer and A look, and I would put Michael Haugen in that category, Walter Ray Williams, Norm Duke. They're all in the winner's bracket. Brian Kretzer, he's in the loser's bracket, but he's just made mincemeat of this pair yesterday. And I'd also say Bob Learn Jr. is also in the winner's bracket and with an A look, straight up 5. That is absolutely a shot that he loves. Here's Walter through the beak on the right lane. Generally on 21 and 2, the right lane has been playing a touch drier, so you may not get that little bit of push you're looking for if you get it a little bit left of target. That might have been what happened to Walter there. And Walter with that black diamond spare ball, the envy of many players. How's our echo? Echo, echo, echo.
Well, yeah, we've been doing this a while, so we kind of know some of the buzzwords around the live streaming phone calls, and a lot of times it is my fault when something's going wrong. But in some cases, if there's an echo on the other end, potentially the user might have multiple windows open, so they're hearing it basically twice or 3 times simultaneously. So
user error.
Potentially, but again, 95% of the time it's because I did something wrong, or clicked the wrong thing, or didn't set the audio, or didn't do something, and yesterday didn't put the scoreboard up for half the game. But
there's only a few things that you have to get right to have this, like all of them.
You just get into it, and then you know, all the pieces, some of them stop moving. But I think we're all good. It looks like we've got some good matches going on here as well. We've still got the 300 watch going. We've had 1 for the week, and always looking for that kind of excitement.
Well, Breeden is really settling into his A game here, just laying it nice and soft up 4-5 with that surface and just flushing everything.
All right. According to our chat room, it says you're a little hard to hear. So let's say first we'll move the mic a little closer.
Turn this up a little bit, Mike.
And then
maybe another cup of coffee.
We got him tweaked here, so let us know if that sounds a little bit better. We appreciate all the feedback, not audio feedback, but the actual feedback.
Haugen got that trip 4 to go last time on that lane, but not this time. And enjoying a 27-pin lead over Dave Sims right now. Breeden, after Walter's Open, 34-pin lead over Walter Ray, but he flags the 10-pin. Puts him in the 22-pin lead category. Walter can come up and double to catch him. Do not want to flag single-pin spares on this difficult lane condition. Another ring 10 for Walter. Walter's really had carry problems kind of the whole season. I mean, if you look at Farmingdale, Haugen was able to use balls and get around the carry issues there. Watch Walter leave a flat 10, and then he'd make the move right, and then go up for a solid 9 on the same lane, and that's just make you pull your hair out. A little bit of carry issues here as well. A great shot by Haugen. Talk about Kretzer. With his A game being straight up, he's at a 2-0 pace, whereas Chris Warren spare next 7. So the best theories of who's lined up. That's why we play the game. Great shot by Walter there, right off his hand. He knew it too.
All right, folks, we do appreciate you being here. Our last day of match play. This is day 5 at the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. 32 players remain after this round. We'll say goodbye to 8 more, so we'll be down to 24. And then throughout the day, we will whittle away.
That's the 10 to go there.
Walter Ray closes that gap a little bit more here. And he said yesterday he had, in his 2 matches, the scores maybe didn't reflect it, but they were pretty well bowled and pretty close after 2 games, and he found a way to pull ahead. And of course, the easiest route here at this event is to just keep winning. If you win 6 matches, you then are the #1 seed. and have to only bowl one game, win one more game on TV. And then in this case, because we're live streamed rather than on actual TV, the top seed would have to lose twice. So a true double elimination.
Some big shots by Dave Sims to get back in his match with Haugen. Strikes in the 9th, 10th, and 11th to get up to 220. Haugen at a 248 possible. And Breeden gets the love tap on the 10. The soft hand there for Haugen. Brings it off the corner. A little bit more oil on that lane 20, so nice soft touch for Michael Haugen. Really uses his speed and his release at the line to manipulate the subtleties of the lane. One of the best in the world with that.
We're going to try something here because I like to yell. We're going to swap headsets and see if that will help.
Here we go.
All right, folks. Headset swap done. Now just have to remember who's which number. So, okay, Bruce, how's that sound?
And here's our next sound check. I seem to be pushing the green bars up a little bit. Let's see.
Well, either way, I can now hear me. I can hear you. The levels look good. And the folks at home seem satisfied with the performance so far. So let's get ready here for game number 2 now on 19 and 20.
And Haugen enjoying a 28-pin lead over the boss. And Breeden 12-pin lead over Walter Ray. Breeden's just got that slow roll. It's got a little bit of side spin, so it saves a little energy and turns up hard. Such a nice look. And look out for Haugen. He's pretty well locked in.
All right, so coming up the rest of the day, again, we have matches all day long. We've got our 9 a.m. Everybody's bowling right now here. We'll eliminate 8 players. And then immediately after at 10:45, we'll have the next round. And we will have winners bracket matches for that round. Then we come back this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then it gets a little wacky with the lane coverage. So certainly be patient and understand that we are stationary. So we'll show at least one match each round. And then we'll have eventually the match for the 1 and 2 seeds. And then later on the big shootout round for the 3, 4, and 5 seeds. So if you check out bowl.com/Senior Masters, you can see the bracket and kind of how it unfolds with the double elimination and then the shootout. Should be a pretty exciting afternoon. Usually is. And right now, our featured players are perfect. Everybody's 2 for 2 here in game 2.
And a slap 10 for Walter Ray. Krister Peterson, an early 60-pin lead over Brian LeClaire in that elimination match.
And Michael Calvin, our number 64 seed, He's going to strike out in the 10th frame. He'll be down just 2 pins to Norm Duke. Calvin, what a ride he's had here so far.
Cinderella story.
Snuck into a tie for 64th place after qualifying. Made a clutch spare to do that, and then won a roll-off to get the 64 spot in the bracket. Took down number 1 seed James Campbell, and then Benny Hafes, who's been around for a minute. Definitely a player to keep an eye on, and he's out there bowling right now in the elimination matches as well. And now Calvin, his reward is taking on Norm Duke and going toe-to-toe right now. 2-pin difference there after game 1, 239, 237. So both players clearly lined up, and as Bruce alluded to, some of these guys have definitely brought their A games and are able to use those A games this week. Norm Duke has a whole alphabet of games, but definitely can play straight, and that's where Michael Calvin excelled this week. So no doubt that's what they're both doing down on lanes 13 and 14 right now. So we'll see how that shakes up. We'll keep you posted. You can follow the live scoring as well.
Well, we could actually see that match off to the left. Just saw Calvin week 10 on the right lane.
Yeah, Ron Moore and Keith Lesko. Ron Moore shot 236. Lesko can get to 247, so another great match there. And then cool storyline, he took 12 years off bowling, and he's only been back for a couple of years now, and we'll get more into that kind of as the day unfolds and we see who comes our way. Daryl Bauer and Alan Seneval, they're going to be about a pin apart after game 1, so it's shaping up to be a good one if you like bowling. And Jerry Smith and Jimmy Baker, Stoney Baker, down in the winner's bracket, 223, 221. It's good stuff.
How about Missoula and Bob Learn exactly tied at 234? And here's the battle of the heavyweights. Mark Williams versus Brian Voss on 37 and 8.
Hall of Fame showdown.
And Voss with the early lead in that match by about 30.
So here in our featured pairs, Dave Sims, the first to stumble. Leaves the big 4. Everybody else clean so far. The strike flurry has slowed a little bit. Sims already down 28 coming into this game.
And Peter Knopf with a comfortable lead over Bob Rosenau in the first game. About 60-pin lead there. Breeden liked that right off his hand. Sims looking pretty strong.
So Dave Sims' official title, by the way, is President of Storm Products.
AKA the boss.
He's, well, pretty close.
And Mr. Chrisman is the owner, is that right?
Yep, Chief Executive Officer and the owner, of course, Bill and Barb Chrisman. And then next in line, Dave Sims. So, what a year. Their Vice President of Marketing, Steve Klompkin, and one of their district sales managers, Alex Hoskins, both made the TV show.
Saw that show.
At the regular Masters in Syracuse.
How can ball change?
So, I would say they might be making some pretty good stuff right now.
Well, I'm a Storm guy. I love it. Both the Storm and the Roto stuff. Been very good to me. Company's been very good to me.
And both of them gold partners here with USBC, along with Brunswick Hammer, Columbia Ebonite, and of course, Kegel, our official lane maintenance provider. Doing a great job here, getting these lanes oiled all week and last week for the Super Senior Classic as well.
course, you have Mike Devaney, ball rep out here for Storm, and see Jimmy Callahan out here. Great shot by Walter Ray. And Brian LeClaire has been also repping Storm when those guys aren't around on the tour. Hold on. And more trouble for Dave Sims.
So that was a pretty quick double by Haugen. I looked up and Dave Sims is bowling again. So
well, Haugen switch balls, bang bang.
This guy's not wasting any time.
Didn't take long.
Again, our next match coming up at 10:45 local time. That's 1:45 on the East Coast. At that point, we'll have 8 bowlers left in the winner's bracket and 16 in the elimination bracket.
And Walter got this back to a 1-pin match and could have taken the lead with that hit, but got it a hair slow on the tighter lane and through the beak. I thought he was going to chop that. I don't think so. Matches do go fast. We're already more than halfway through our first round here. And Lesko did get a 10-pin lead over Ron Moore that first game. Baby split for Breeden. This could give the lead to Walter Ray on the bench. And give him the spare. Great shot by Breeden. Score 56. Actually, Walter does have the lead by 1 now in this match. Great shot by Haugen. That's because Breeden lost the count on the baby split, but made it to stay in the match. Haugen pulling away now. Already with the 28-pin lead into this game. And a 36-pin lead additional to that will put him in the 60-pin lead plus lead category. Breeden crumbles the bucket. Great shot. Nice and slow up the tighter lane. Great match here against Walter Ray. And Haugen now looks like he's using 2 different balls in each lane, which he does quite often. He's a juggler of that equipment based on breakpoint, reaction, overall read. And Sims needs a lot of strikes here. Michael has that very interesting release. It's almost like turning a doorknob. You know, you just kind of get behind it a little bit and just a very soft turn at the bottom, and just manipulates his break points. He totally understands the lane front to back, what he needs to do. Great shot by Walter. Extends his lead to 11. Ring 10 for Dave Sims.
All right, folks, a lot of great Senior Masters action coming up throughout the day today. We appreciate you giving us part of your weekend. My name is Matt Canizar alongside Bruce Hall, who competed this week here at the Senior Masters. And pretty soon, we're going to have to go stand by the escalator, say goodbye to 8 more players.
Form the hockey line. Shake hands. So Norm Duke pulling away a bit from Calvin at this point.
Breeden unable to continue the string into the 10th frame. 224. The best he can do here. Walter Ray still can get to 259. Breeden came into this game leading by 12.
Walter now up 13 net in the match, can get it into the 30s with a double in the 10th. And Michael Haugen just pulling away. And actually Calvin, our Cinderella story against Norm Duke, was down 14 but just doubled to get within 4. So that is a close match on 13 and 14. And 220. 3 for Breeden. Definitely a lower scoring pace for Breeden. Back to some of the carry issues he talked about during qualifying, I think. There's a little slower. That lane a little drier on 19 for Haugen. I think he liked it when he let it go, but he just saw a little bit of pop there. We saw Brian Leclerc get a little bit better read off the outside of that lane when he bowled here. How about a leaner 10 for Walter, just like horseshoes.
All right, so one more puts Walter Ray in the 250s this game. Growing advantage here against Breeden, who's at 449 after 2.
Oh yeah, no doubt about that one.
Haugen finishes with 253. He's at 501. Sims will close things out here. Can get to 200 this game. Then put him at 420. So 80 pin swing there.
Walter now a 23 pin leader, from 12 down to 23 up.
Pretty quick. Game 3 coming up. At this rate, we're going to have a pretty sizable wait. Might have to shut things down and bring it back up at showtime. So 190 for Sims. Puts him at 410.
And we're up at 10:45, right? Go get some breakfast. Guys throw a lot of strikes and don't fool around. They're up and go.
So we are getting to that point of the event. We've got the best of the best here. Our final 32 players. Haugen laughing that one off, but just barely blew that 10 pin over. He's got a comfortable lead, 501 to 410 here in game 3 now.
Sorry, man, I was going to say Keith Lesko now stringing him against Ron Moore. Spare next 5 in game 2, and Ron Moore 96 in the 5th. Walter can't get the 10 to go.
Chris Warren and Brian Kretzer. Warren at 528 after 2. Brian Kretzer at 384. I say that one is
crazy.
Just about done. Game 3 coming up.
So much for the A game for Kretzer. Chris Warren had to move right on those tighter pairs down there. They're down at the low end of the house. Shows the flexibility of Warren and the adaptability.
Michael Calvin working on a string of strikes. Pulled ahead of Norm Duke.
Pins galore here on 21 and 2. I think these guys are right in each other's spot. I think they're carving it a little bit, and a lot of times you'll see a little bit of carry down after a game or two. So sometimes your move after a game or two on a pattern like this is right, not necessarily left. You go right and go a little straighter because the nice clean back ends get a little bit of oil on them, and the heads go a little bit. Combination is early read, not enough back end, 10 pin. So let's see what kind of moves these guys make to try to figure out these corners. It's about all they've left. And there's Haugen.
Brian Voss leads Mark Williams 504, 463.
It's not out.
Again, we do have 16 matches going on across the house from lanes 7 to 52. If you want to see the live scoring, bowl.com/Senior Masters, click on the results tab, and there'll be a link.
And Harry Sullins now with a 40-pin lead over Noel Vasquez. Coming up on the end of game 2 in that match.
Hot start for Dave Sims. 3 for 3. Down 90 pins. Made up 10 of those. Running out of room.
Good shot for Walter Ray.
2 through 3. Walter Ray maintaining his 23 pin lead.
Checking in on the Bob Rosenau Peter Knopp losers bracket match. Peter Knopp in firm control there. About a 50-pin lead. And another 10-pin.
Like some growing numbers here as we wind things down at the Senior Masters. Nice break there for Haugen to get the 2 rolled. Appreciate all the support and kind words in the chat room. It's been a fun couple of weeks here, and got a lot of great live streaming action coming up here on BowlTV. In case you didn't hear the announcement, the PWBA, Professional Women's Bowling Association, will be moving to BowlTV for the duration of this season. So that'll be free content, free coverage of the PWBA events coming up later this summer. And then once we wrap up at the USBC Open Championships in Syracuse, we're headed to the Junior Gold Championships in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Looking forward to that. So a lot of big events on the horizon. Already working on the 2019 schedule, and potentially, hopefully, back here at the Senior Masters and Super Senior Classic in 2019. And of course, for that, we need your help. We need you to subscribe to BowlTV, like BowlTV, thumbs up under your video windows, and all those numbers tell us, hey, let's do this some more.
PWBA just wrapped up an event at my good friend Tony Renaud's Center in East Hartford, Connecticut, Hall of Fame Silver Lanes. So Breeden closes the gap by 9. We now have a 14-pin match with Walter Ray up.
And folks, keep in mind, the blue bar on the scoreboard means this is a winner's bracket match. So we've got 16 undefeated players right now. So 8 winners bracket matches and 8 elimination bracket matches happening right now here at Samstown Bowling Center. And if you scroll through the live scoring, you'll be able to see the red for the elimination folks. Pretty neat little touch I didn't even think about.
It's great. I'm looking at one now. Mark Mazzulla looking like he's going to have a 20-pin or a 19-pin lead over Bob Learn Jr., going into the last game. These matches are going especially fast, Matt. Most of the other matches are just starting their last game now.
Say nothing close enough where we could turn the cameras. So we likely, looking at the time, we'll have an hour here almost. Whoa.
OB.
Haugen sails that one. But really, no danger here. He's up 90 coming into this game.
Actually gets one to go. Just a lot of carry frustration for Walter Ray Williams Jr. So Brian Voss with the lead over Williams, but goes spare split, while Williams goes spare double. That match very much tightening up. In fact, I think Williams might have taken the lead. And we got another very close match. A couple of heavyweights, Parker Bone third and Mika Koivuniemi. Match is going to be within 10 going into the last game. Mika looks like he's going to have a slight lead. Breeden got 8 back this game, 23-pin deficit, 15-pin match in favor of Walter Ray. And Breeden with the can opener. about the carry here. Pocket very accessible to all these players, really.
Big couple frames coming up here for Walter Ray. Leading by 23 coming in, and Breeden cutting away at that.
A mixer strike for Walter Ray. Needed it. It's the lead back up to 25. Critical point in the match. No problem there for Dave Sims on the carry.
Dave Sims will continue on into the elimination bracket, so his day definitely not over, just got a little bit longer potentially. There's still good news there. Walter Ray.
And Keith Lesko taking control in the Ron Moore match. Moore looking at $170 this game.
And we do have right behind us, we have Walter Ray's wife. The Haugen fan club as well. It's very cool to see all the support.
Yeah, Fong is here. And
Dave Sims' family actually drove in, I think, this morning to come and support him. So from Brigham City, Utah, not too far away, a few hours.
Just a quick jaunt over the mountains, and you're here. It's an easy ride. See Dave move over to the losers bracket and go from there.
So nothing Breeden can do. He can keep striking, keep the pressure on Walter Ray.
Must strike here. Absolute must strike.
Down 25 pins with just 2 frames to go. Barring disaster from the defending champ.
Left, right up and at it. Big shot for Breeden.
Walter Ray will finish this one out first. And then we'll know, because we have calculators, exactly what the situation is.
Well, it's 15 pins right now, Matt. So most Breeden can make up is 20 more in the 10th. So this first one here will pretty much do it. Walter can get this one and a mark. Turn it up. Dead flush. Hall of Fame shot. Walter Ray Williams Jr. The best Breeden can do is 247, which means Walter needs to be in the high 220s. And now he's in the 230s. Walter Ray Williams moves on, stays in the winner's bracket. Breeden, a great run, moving over to the elimination bracket. And a very nice finish for Dave Sims, great run. Ran into the Michael Haugen buzzsaw.
Haugen did lead our opening round on the fresh, nearly 200 over, and hung around top 5 the rest of the week. Dave Sims, very nice 656 set, won't be enough against the top player of the year candidate halfway through the season here, but this event being a major, pretty big stuff. And of course the top 2 in that race, Haugen and Walter Ray, both rolling on here in the winner's bracket.
And Chris Warren's going to wrap up that match against Brian Kretzer. That's going to send Brian home.
Walter Ray and Haugen both on the same side of the bracket. So
they collision course.
They would meet at some point soon. If they both continue to win, they're both 3-0. Looks like Walter Ray will take on Lesko if he is able to finish off Ron Moore. And then Haugen will get the winner of the Missoula Bob Learn match.
And Krister Peterson eliminates Brian Leclerc 7-15 to 6-46.
Krister Peterson was on the receiving end of a Parker Bone III 789 set in the opening round, and now has continued to make his way through the elimination bracket. That's about the longest path in bowling right there. Lose the first round, and have to bowl pretty much non-stop for 2 days.
Very tough if you get kicked to the elimination bracket early. Very tough to make that run.
Well, Chris Warren did the same. He shot 501, lost to a 511 series, shockingly.
And still alive.
And he's going. He just shot 762 against Brian Kretzer's 586. Chris Warren, remember, the 1990 Masters champ, looking to join Walter Ray and Dave Sutar on the very short list of bowlers to win both events. So, and Bruce, another stat we didn't point out yesterday, Doug Kent shot 729 and 733 and lost both of those matches. That was unbelievable.
Wow.
0-2, shooting 730 twice. That's phenomenal, and then that's just the nature of the event. You can shoot 730 and lose, and you can shoot 511 and win. It's just a matter of who you get and where. And here, we get in our feature pair, Haugen over Sims. Walter Ray 720 over Don Breeden 673.
I think the Lesko match is all but wrapped up. Let's go check in on it. It's a match we can see from here.
So we've got some pillars around us here at Samstown, so not really able to get a good view of any other pairs besides the two immediately next to us that are not being used right now.
Yeah, Lesko's got about a 90 pin advantage over Ron Moore going into this last game, so it'll take a miracle. And he started with a double. And the Darrell Bauer Alan Seneval match just getting started with game 3 on 27 and 8, and that's a 2-pin match in favor of Darrell Bauer, who just doubled. Seneval through the beak is going to be down 12 in that match now. Darrell Bauer, of course, in the qualifying, needed 230, had 99 in the fifth, his last game. Throws the next 5, 236, finalist. And now still in the winner's bracket and with a lead. In fact, Matt, 5 of our guys in the winner's bracket, Mark Mazzulla, Jerry Smith, Darrell Bauer, Michael Calvin, seeds 54 and below. 4 winners brackets.
About that. Just shows you the goal, just get there. And then anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
3-game match, 1 pair of lanes. There's also strategy involved, potentially, if you go out there. You can talk it over with your opponent if you want to play a certain part of the lane and try to make it so you get some big scores.
Well, like we said, it was up and down, but I think more and more it's settling into those people who know the fresh and play the fresh correctly with surface up 4-5 and the right roll, and those are the guys we're going to see move on. And we put Lesko in that category, and Sandoval.
All right, so we are kind of stuck where we are, but rolling through the live scoring here. We'll keep chatting, and then we'll step aside for a minute. Mark Williams 7-11 series. Looks like that'll be enough to get past Voss. We'll have a final score here in a minute.
Might have been a comeback. I thought Voss had the lead in that match.
Voss was up 504, 463
Yeah.
after 2.
Yep.
A couple splits early.
Yep. He split in the second and third frames, and then Williams came back and threw some strikes. So the Bauer-Lesko match. Bauer missed in the third. Week 10. 11-pin lead now, I believe. With Sandoval on a strike. And Ron Moore, first 4 against Lesko. Let's check back in on that match.
We have a final score down. Mark Williams 7-11 through the last 4. Brian Voss 697. So Voss, good run once again.
Tough match.
Mark Williams has been tough for the last 2 weeks. Was the runner-up at the Super Senior Classic. Won a 299 game here at the Senior Masters. So he found a way to score and put up some numbers. And rolling along here in our elimination bracket. So Voss will be among the 8 going home. As the scores roll in here, we'll shout them out for you.
And Moore with the first 5, but still down about 60 to Lesko. First 6 for Moore. There's a balk by Sandoval. Harry Sullen's a handy winner over Noel Vasquez. Harry with 708. And Vasquez somewhere in the mid-5s.
All right, as you said, Sullins over Vasquez. Final score there, 708 for Sullins, 580 for Noel. And that was a winner's bracket match, so Vasquez will go to the elimination bracket. Still alive here.
So Sandoval doubled, and it looks like he just tied the match with Darrell Bauer on 27-8.
Way down at the far end, Lenny Boris has eliminated Dave Washburn, 667, 590. Lenny, a winner this year on the PBA 50 tour.
One in Florida. Always watch out for Lenny.
Had a nice showdown yesterday. Lenny and his teammate Dale Traber. Those guys have won 3 Eagles together at the USBC Open Championships and faced off in our opening round yesterday.
Ron Moore through the beak, 4-6-7. That's just about going to do it. I think he basically needed them all to force Lesko to perhaps double one more time. But now at the 4-6, that's going to pretty much do it for Ron Moore against Keith Lesko. Talked about Lesko being out of the game for a while. We were out to dinner with Keith last night, heard some of his story, and while we're there, his daughter calls and had a FaceTime with his grandson. So that was very, very cute, and interesting technology to connect with the family these days.
Well, sometimes real life takes you on a different path. Lesko was a top regional competitor about 14 or 15 years ago already, and so he stepped away for 12 years. Played a lot of golf.
He looks like he could hit it hard on the golf course.
So we got our final shot coming up down on 33 and 4. Winners bracket match between Jerry Smith and Stoney Baker. And Baker finished with 684. Jerry Smith strings him and gets to 691. So Jerry Smith, remember he was the one yesterday. His first round was against Chris Warren. 511 to 501. Now he comes through today. So they got the strikes covered, but it looked like it might have been the last 9 or 10 even to get to 691 and sneak that one out. So Baker goes to the elimination bracket. Jerry Smith 3-0, moving on here.
And Lesko running one out. And Jerry Smith, our number 56 seed. Undefeated. So Bauer and Seneval tied to the pin, each working on a spare in the 5th frame. 5 frames left in the match. Winner's bracket. And Bauer through the beak, 3-6-10. As we said, Darrell used to have that backswing that looked like Chris Warren's back in the day. And it's hard on your joints, and so he's a little more conventional today, but still everything in a nice straight line and gets through it really nice.
Norm Duke and Michael Calvin done. Duke 705 and Calvin looks like 677. And I want to say both of them might have been clean for 3 games. Both very well, and it just really came down to who had less 9 counts. So 705, 677. Duke rolls on. Calvin now goes to the elimination brackets.
You have to like Duke on this straight up 5 pattern. In really any match he's going to bowl. I could see him and Haugen colliding. Where are they in the bracket? They're on opposite sides of the bracket. You could see them go for 1-2. That's very, very feasible. Duke taking on Jerry Smith coming up. And Seneval strikes to get the 3-pin lead only because of the count left by Bauer. And he ran that one out. And I think if he gets this one, you'll hear it all the way from here on our not so sensitive microphones.
So our next round scheduled for 10:45 local time, 1:45 on the East Coast. We should have no problem making that deadline. We'll keep the stream running. And we'll probably step away and stretch the legs a little bit, but we've got these matches wrapping up here across the house, just too far away for us to see from here.
4-pin wrap for Sandoval. Still a 3-pin match with Daryl Bauer.
Bob Learn Jr. looking to stay alive here in the winner's bracket.
Yeah, I see him running him out down there. What's going on in that match?
He made the step ladder last year and fell to Andy Nyer. Final shot there for Learn. We'll get a final score here in just one moment.
I think Learn just took a 4-pin lead over Missoula, who opened in the 10th for 194. Missoula at 651. And Learn looking to go 664 and edges out Mark Missoula. Learn doubles in the 10th and Missoula opens. For Bob Learn to move on.
Well, big pressure situations here, and get to see what folks are made of and learning opportunities. I feel one of our bowlers yesterday, David Tyrell, I think we were done. He said that was kind of the biggest moment of his career. He's had some regional success, but getting to bowl here in the winners bracket at the Senior Masters was it, a big moment.
Can't simulate it. You'd love to create that virtual reality device that puts you in this situation, but it doesn't exist, Matt, and it never will. There's nothing like head-to-head competition with the best in the world, which is where you're at, right here. And there's another 3-6-10 by Bauer. That's going to put him down 6 just by virtue of count. And Bobby Learn the experience coming through there.
Just the last couple matches finishing up here. The bracket will be updated online within minutes. Bowl.com/Senior Masters. Click on the results tab. We'll have 24 bowlers remaining.
Bauer strikes in the 8th. Badly needed. Any double gets a 10-pin swing here. Sandoval nursing a 6-pin lead in this match. Up in the 8th now on a spare.
Pretty vast bowling center here at 56 lanes.
It might be the last match bowling.
Looks like we've got 45 and 6 wrapping up. Badavinik and O'Brien. And then on 49 and 50, Ben Haves and Miyamoto. 695, 660 for Lesko over Moore. And then down on 27 and 8, as you're letting the folks know about, Sandoval and Bauer.
Sandoval did strike in the 8th. So they're each on strikes. Sandoval with a 6-pin lead. 9th frame. This is what you practice for.
Remember, folks, there's pillars here, so even turning the cameras would not really make much sense. We could see pins or people, but not both.
Seneval doubles. Arms in the air in victory. Going to give him a 16-pin advantage, putting Darrell Bauer in just about a must-strike situation here in the 9th. He needs the first one to get within 6, and the next one to take the lead in the 10th. So pretty crucial shot here. And bang, Darrell Bauer matches the double, back within 6. Cannot shut out Seneval. But basically, whatever he does in the 10th, Seneval has to match.
All right, we do have a final score from 45 and 6th. Banovinik, 586 over O'Brien, 567. So Steve moves on, and O'Brien is done for 2018.
580 winner. More up and down scores. Here's Bauer in the 10th. Bang. Bauer to take the lead. Seneval now needs the first one to catch him. Bauer turned the 7-pin lead of Seneval into a 3-pin lead for himself. He can get it to 13 with the second one in the 10th. Huge shots, huge triple by Darrell Bauer after going through the beak twice. He has 2 shots before that.
And finally, Bruce, on our last pair, it is Miyamoto over Benny Hafes, 636, 618. So Daniel still cruising here after getting his face on Bowl.com for some nice performances this week.
Darrell Bauer gets a crumbling 2-pin bucket to go for his second one in the 10th, now forcing Seneval to double. What a break for Darrell Bauer. Yeah, Benny Hafes, great run the last 2 weeks. Of course, he made the show in the Super Senior Classic, and great run here, Senior Masters. Pretty good couple of weeks for Benny. So Bauer needs 8 here. It's just a 3-pin lead. And gets the ring 10 good enough. Seneval needs 2. All the rest of the center completely quiet. All other matches done. It's Seneval and lane 28 needs 2. Through the beak for Seneval. Like he got a little off balance. And Darrell Bauer throwing the last 4, 8th, 9th, 10th, and 11th to get the lead back. Moves on and stays in the winner's bracket, Matt.
All right, a little bit of excitement here. And folks, that's going to do it for right now. We'll take a short break here. We'll leave the stream running. Coming up at 1:45 Eastern, we've got our 2 winners bracket matches. Looks like it's going to be Norm Duke and Jerry Smith on 19 and 20. And our other match will be Michael Haugen Jr. and Bob Learn on 21 and 22. We do appreciate everybody being here. Again, my name is Matt Canizaro alongside Senior Masters competitor Bruce Hall, checking in for our exciting matches here. We'll have all of that coming up and more live from here at Samstown Bowling Center in about 30 minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks. Tell all your friends. We'll be right back. Yes, I do. I love every minute of it.
Hey, trust me, we love what you're doing. We'll watch it on the screen. That's for sure.
Match play finalists, please report to your match play pairs at this time. Competitors in match play, please head to your starting lanes at this time.
He put a charm in it,
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the USBC and Sam's Town Hotel and Bowling Center, I'd like to welcome you to the continuation of this year's double elimination match play in this year's Senior Masters. At this time, we have 4 matches remaining in our winner's bracket. On lanes 19 and 20, we'll see Norm Duke versus Jerry Smith. On lanes 25 and 26, it'll be Daryl Bauer versus Harry Sullivan. And on 21-22, Michael Haugen Jr. will square off against Bob Learn Jr. And on 15 and 16, our remaining Senior Masters champion that's in the tournament, a 2-time winner of this event and our defending champion, Walter Ray Williams Jr. versus Keith Lesko. The other matches on the floor are from the elimination bracket. The players who lose those matches in the elimination bracket will be eliminated from the tournament. The players will continue on to try and find their road to the championship round. Competitors, when the lanes come on, they are yours for 10 minutes of warm-up. All right, competitors in match play, please hold on all your deliveries. Warm-up is now over. No more deliveries. Just a reminder, bowling fans, the overhead monitors, if they have blue up there, there are 4 matches left in the winners brackets. If they have red arrows up there, they are in the elimination bracket. Please pick out your favorite player, cheer on the victory here. Bowling fans, have a great send-off for this round of match play over the area. All right, thank you. Good luck.
All right, folks, that didn't seem like such a long wait after all. Get the scoreboards up here, and we are ready now for our next round of competition here at the 2018 USBC Senior Masters. My name is Matt Kinizar alongside Bruce Hall, and we are settling in for 2 of our 4 winners bracket matches here. On lanes 19 and 20, we have Norm Duke and Jerry Smith, and 21 and 22 is Michael Haugen Jr. and Bob Learn Jr. We're down to 24 competitors at this year's event at the Samstown Bowling Center. We've got 4 winners bracket matches going on across the house here and 8 elimination bracket matches. So we're going to say goodbye again to another 4 competitors. 8 competitors, sorry about that. We're down 24. 8 more will go. And we're getting pretty close to the match that will determine our #1 seeds for TV. And the day is flying by, Bruce.
Sure is, and these 2 matches of these heavyweights, our first chance to get a look at Jerry Smith comes in late, and the story of, I think especially 21 and 2 is going to be what happens on this burned oil pattern. We're on the 2nd round here. And of course, Walter Ray was bowling Don Breeden earlier on this pair, and they burned the exact spot that both Bob Learn and Michael Haugen are playing. So the question is, what do? Do they ball down and try to stay in the same spot, push it through the heads a little bit? We saw Michael Haugen, his first shot read immediately in the mid lane and went Brooklyn, which was his first strike. And Bobby Learn was able to keep them both in the pocket. And likewise on 19 and 20, pretty much the same story, where we had David Sims up against Michael Haugen, and both playing the lanes what I consider to be correctly with dull equipment right up 4-5. So it carves up that spot where the seam is in the fresh, and let's see how these guys react to it. It's going to be very interesting.
All right, let's talk about how they got here, and we'll start with Jerry Smith because that's a pretty interesting story. He came in as the number 56 seed, so just hanging on to a spot in match play, and the opening round he gets the red hot at the time number 9 Chris Warren, and Chris in his final round of qualifying had 1260 plus 260. Even got a trophy right before they started their match yesterday, but somehow on that pair of lanes it was 31 and 32. Jerry Smith escapes with a 511-501 victory. That's right, 511 to 501, while at the same time Doug Kent was losing with 729. So it's just the nature of the event. Once you get into the top 64, it's you and the other guy on a pair of lanes. Whatever that pair gives you, you go out there and you try to knock all 10 pins down. You want to knock down 1 pin more than the other guy. And Jerry Smith, 511, 501. And then things fall into place. And he goes on to defeat Lenny Borish, 704, 694. And then Stoney Baker this morning, 691 to 684. So kind of a roller coaster, but a win is a win. And for Norm Duke, he started things off with a win over Dennis Horan Jr., 698, 633. Then takes out Jerry Brunetti, 738 to 595. And then this morning, taking out the number 64 seed Michael Calvin, 705, 677. So Norm Duke well, he's Norm Duke, so you can expect that he'll figure it out one way or another, and it's just a matter of all the pins cooperating. Last year, Duke earned the number 3 seed for TV, shot 800 plus in our shootout round, and ended up finishing 4th for the event. So looking to build on that. And our other competitors here on 21-22, Haugen, first round win over David Tyrell, and then a win over Charlie Standish in round number 2 yesterday. Haugen shooting 615 and 647 in those 2 wins, so don't always need big scores. Again, you just need one more pin than the other guy over 3 games. Total pinfall determines the winner. And then this morning, it was 735, 656 over Dave Sims. And for Bob Learn Jr., similar situation. Got a nice win early against Tony Rodriguez, 643, 507, and then started piling on some strikes, 708, 633 over Brian Goebel. Then this morning, big finish to get past Mark Missoula. Missoula opened in the 10th and let Bob Learn slip by, 664 to 651, and that's where we are.
Quite a path already. We're halfway through our second day here, Matt, and Bobby Learn says burn, what burn? Just going to power it through and start off with the first 4, and Michael Haugen goes Brooklyn, then makes the move left, and flat 10. How many times has it happened? You move a little bit into the oil, catch a little bit of push on the heads, and won't make the corner. And there's a 10 pin for you. Meanwhile, Norm Duke is being Norm Duke, first 3 against Jerry Smith. Interesting to see Mika make it by Parker Bone this morning, knocking Parker out once again. With another, gotta be disappointing Senior Masters for Parker. He just dominated his first match. And there's a pretty much ring 10 for Bobby. Last year Parker led, lost his first round. This year he was 22nd, I think, lost his first round. And won his first round, lost the second round. Hard to get through when you get to the elimination bracket that early.
Well, some guys really enjoy the format here. You can sneak in wherever, and then they love the head-to-head, the 3-game matches, the adrenaline of it, and others prefer the long format, the U.S. Open type, where his total pinfall just carries, throw on some match play, bonus pins, keep going, and if you're bowling well, you're definitely rewarded. Here, really, besides a sweet trophy or 2, not any kind of reward for being up there, number 1 seed. Really, we've seen it too many times. But once you get to that point, from such a huge field of 200 plus bowlers down to 64, those are the 64 best bowlers. So chances are, no matter who you get matched up against, it's going to be a tough match.
In theory, you get a lesser opponent, but as you say, anybody can do anything at this level.
Well, I think those guys who are lower in the bracket, maybe, they're still fiddling. They're still trying to figure out the right combination, and then, you know what? If they happen to figure it out right before match play starts, and they get the right surface or the right ball, they go drill something. They talk it out, they think it out, what worked, and that could be the big difference.
Or maybe they like the fresh, and that was the only pattern they could hit on. They didn't like the burn. I would put Keith Lesko in that category.
So looking at the bracket now, we have 8 undefeated players still, and we've met them. Our other winners bracket matches this game are Darryl Bauer and Harry Sullins, and Keith Lesko and Walter Ray Williams Jr., our defending champion. 24 players total remain. We'll lose 8 here. 16 will move on, and then our 4 winners will battle it out next round. It'll be off camera. We won't have those matches, but after that, the 2 winners there, we will have the last 2 remaining winners bracket bowlers bowl for the number 1 seed right here on 21 and 22. So we'll have matches each round, and then a couple of rounds coming up, we'll just have the 1, but it should be an entertaining day. And I think sometimes even the elimination bracket matches are more intense and more exciting because they are facing departure.
Absolutely. And Jerry Smith, I think, got one a little slow in that left lane. That left lane does hook a little more. 19. And went through the beak and big hole. Norm Duke first 5. Big lead for Duke already. And Haugen cannot figure out this left-hand lane. He had 1 Brooklyn on it and the rest 10 pins. And how about Bobby through the beak? A little bit slow, maybe a little grab, same split. Jerry Smith just left. 2, 4, 6, 7. And Duke clearly balled down. That's less than he's thrown before, and he's right up and at him. Just lays it right off on the hold and dead flush. Learn gives it a run. A little surprised. I think he thought he made it.
Last year, Norm Duke finished 4th, Bob Learn 5th. And again, both ran into the left-hander Andy Nyer in the step ladder. And both, I'm sure, very motivated to have another chance at it here in 2018. And right now, of our 24 bowlers remaining, trouble for Duke on the front 6.
Same problem. A little bit of hook on that left lane.
There's a 1 in 24 chance we're going to have a brand new Senior Masters champion here. Walter A. Williams Jr., the only past winner in the field. So nice to see some new folks shining here on the big stage. Duke unable to convert, so exchanging splits here in the middle of game number 1, Duke and Smith. However, Duke with a 50-pin lead.
And if Haugen can figure out this left-hand lane, he'll take the lead. Even with his wraps, he finds himself only 6 down to bottom. Again, these lanes are going to play tricky for these guys because they've had sponges rolled up 5. There are 3 games each before them. Any little thing can happen on the heads, just a little catch of some oil, wrap on the corner, early read, through the beak, split. Lots of possibilities. And way off for a split. I think he moved left a little bit on that one, Haugen did. Good shot.
So Haugen with the double now. Bob Learn is going to finish things out first. He can get to 245. Haugen can step up 3 to 10th for 239. That'll keep us close after game 1. Again, total pinfall will determine our winners here. Who will stay alive in the winner's bracket, who will head on to the elimination bracket. All these guys now 3-0 in match play. And 1 step closer to the stepladder finals. Those bowlers will be here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. local time, 1 p.m. Eastern for the finals. So looking forward to that. We'll have all of that for you live after a full day of coverage here today from the Samstown Bowling Center. If you are curious about the fact that Chris Warren has the front 9,
Might
front
be time
10.
to take a walk, my friend.
I'll be right back.
Matt, of course, doing the double duty with the video. Going to run down now and catch Chris Warren's last shot for the 300. We've had only 1 300 in the event. Rick Minier, Parker Bone with 299, a couple other big scores. And Bobby Learn strikes in the 8th, 9th, and 10th. 245 maximum. What happened, Matt?
Well, that was a very short walk. As I stood up, he looks like he left the 10 pin. He's just a couple pairs over, so we can see. So from here, I was scrolling through the live scoring and saw the string of strikes. But it will be a sizable advantage for Chris Warren.
289.
Noel Vasquez only can get to 221.
And the characteristics of these pairs continuing to show themselves, where the left lane hooks more on 19 and 20 and the right lane hooks more on 21 and 2. Got to make those adjustments as you move along. Still, you have to keep your speed down on this ice oil, 41-foot pattern, 29 mils of oil on the fresh. That's a lot.
Question.
Straight up.
Question in the chat room about Tom Baker, and it was reported to us that he is he's injured. So trying to bounce back from that, and hopefully we'll see him back on the lane soon.
Haven't seen him at any event this year, unfortunately.
And Tom Baker, the last bowler to win the Senior Masters back-to-back, 2006 and 2007. Walter Ray trying to match that feat. Right now he is taking on Keith Lesko to our left. And Walter Ray down 19 after 8. And we have a report in the chat room as well that Mark Williams has the front 8. So we're going to peek at that and see how fast and how far I have to run to 31 and 2. So I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back.
Okay. And here's Haugen. Gets the first one in the 10th. It's going to leave him at 226 with the spare and an 8-pin deficit to Bobby Learn. I think Bobby this week might have been fighting his speed a little bit. He likes to be hard and straight right up at him, and I think the hard and straight up at him is right. I think you got to be soft though a little bit on this ice oil and with the 29 mils. And then Bobby is certainly coping, still being in the winner's bracket and looking good. And here's Jerry Smith. Can get to 212. And Norm tracking at a 242 pace, 262 possible. And the second one in the 10th for Smith. Good shot there. And Haugen does cover. 8-pin lead for Bobby Learn going into game 2. Bobby got one out. Tried to come back, but 2-pin. And 208 for Jerry Smith. Norm up, not wasting any time. Right up and at him. Dango on his way to 260. And Haugen with a tomahawk bouncing messenger goes in front of the 10. Hard to believe he didn't get that. Ray indeed 10 down to Keith Lesko. Keith, as we've been saying all along, might have about the best matchup in terms of game and equipment with this pattern. Long and lanky, straight up 4-5. A lot of confidence. And the wins to show it. And Norm, of course, gets the second one. And about 262 for Norm out of the gate on the burn. Balls down, keeps it straight. He's a master at this. And a 54-pin lead over Jerry Smith. Talked about guys that match up and then Hall of Famers that match up. You have to put Norm Duke in that category, Michael Haugen in that category. Walter Ray, very comfortable, straight up 4-5. Looks like Haugen made a ball change there in the left lane, but couldn't get it to react. How'd we do, Matt?
Not good enough, that Mark Williams. I think I spent more time with him this week than his girlfriend has, with as many times as he's had the front 8 and front 9. But he always blames me. Can't ever seem to get it done. 299 and 289 in that case. Got the 10th one, no problem, and mixed him up on the 11th, left a 7-pin. But, you know, I'm the cloud. I'm coming. But still, a 289 game and a head start in the match. That's the most important thing, of course, and having some momentum going into game 2.
And our 300 count for the tournament remains at 1. Rick Minier.
So some big games, though. Mark Williams had 289. Chris Warren had 289.
Parker 299.
Lenny Boris, well, just that game alone, last game.
Oh, yeah, right. Running.
Lenny Boris, I believe, had the front 8 as well for 266. He'll be just ahead of Don Breeden. Breeden can get to 235 here. So well, clearly these guys, again, are the best. They've gotten to this point, and they figured something out. And also being here on the burn, the lane's a little bit more open than we would have seen in the first round. And we saw it here in our featured pairs. More strikes. And so you take the best guys and however many games they bowled, 30-plus games already. And it's no surprise the scores are on the rise.
Well, and the thing that really sets these guys apart is they get it here in practice, and they don't make bad shots. So every shot they make is information they can use to tweak the pair. And some of the rest of us mere mortals are sometimes fighting balance, fighting release, finding consistency, and say, is that a shot I can learn off of or not? And it just goes to show that repeating is so important as you try to decode these different pairs when you move pair to pair. Very important. Haugen, give him the double. Best shot of the day so far in lane 21. And Matt, you know, we talked about us both being left-handers, yet still being objective. More importantly, Jackie Wyckoff, who is my friend from the Bay Area, who I'm sure you know, an industry heavyweight, thinks we make a good couple.
Uh-oh.
So we'll have to interpret that how it may seem.
Aaron Smith might get jealous. We are the official B team of BowlTV.
Great shot by Bob Learn. Yeah, Email actually was in East Hartford covering the PWBA. I think that was Extra Frame, though. Did a great job on that. And, of course, I've seen Aaron in lots of places. You guys are all basically one-man bands and put on a great show. It's just amazing to watch.
Well, then there's the rare occasion. We'll see it actually coming up here in August, I believe. We're in Plano, close to home, Plano, Texas, for the PWBA stop. And all of us will be in town. Now, that'll be the first time since probably last August.
Bobby Learn just wheeled back and got a mitt full of that one. Dead flush, 10 back, 4-bagger. Adds to his 8-pin lead. Make it 29-pin lead now for Bobby Learn.
Folks, remember to share our broadcast with all your friends and family. It's the weekend, so can't use work as the excuse. Kick back. Watch some of the best bowlers, age 50 and older, do their thing here at Samstown. Subscribe to BowlTV. Follow us on Facebook. Give us a thumbs up. All the good stuff that keeps us going, and if anything, it's motivation to know that folks out there are watching and appreciative. Certainly has been a rewarding couple of weeks here, sitting in this chair behind these two pairs of lanes. We're not quite done yet. It's only getting down to the really good parts now.
More fun than we should be allowed, Matt. I'll say it again. And great touch there by Haugen. Moves in, softens it up, right up 9-10, rips the rack. And how about Chris Warren? What do you go, first 9 the first game? This game, spare next 6.
Yep. Started with 289.
And how about another 50 over? He's only 60 pins away from 800, and he's halfway through the match. And Bobby got that one left and gets the Brooklyn.
1-1.
He's disgusted. He has to take it. It's a rule. Can't believe it read so early. He's trying to work through his line position and trying to figure out whether he reared up on that or what happened. But what a gift. And Norm Duke, just as you think the ball's going to lay off and maybe flat 10, he just rips the rack. Weaker equipment, but all forward roll, just rolling right through the pins. Energy right where it needs to be. And how about a nosedive for Bobby Learn? Brooklyn nosedive. Equals spare next 6. And Haugen applauding him.
That's all you can really do in that sense. And I'm sure all these guys pretty good friends as well. And there's always going to be payback. It's a give and take. And
Bobby mortified by those shots. He doesn't want to win that way.
There is no style points here. If you just tuned in, you look up at the scoreboard, and you'll see X's on the scoreboard. That's it. No extra credit. We're doing it just right. And Haugen probably thinking, man, how come that didn't carry? It would carry for Bob, but unfortunately,
the
4-6-7 now at the end of a string of 4.
Some frustration by Haugen, understandably. And that drier lane got him. 22 being drier than 21 on the right side. And now Warren extending his string of strikes out to the 9th with 290 in the wood. How about 289, 290 out of the gate off the loser's bracket. Gets there by virtue of a 501 his first round. Only loses by 9 or 10. And now dominating in the loser's bracket. And a good comeback there for Haugen. So Bobby Learn, by virtue of those 2 strikes, Brooklyn and Nosedive has a 44-pin lead now over Haugen, looking to extend. And there's a bucket and a 5-7. Maybe some instant karma.
Oh, no doubt. Trying to make an adjustment off the Brooklyn strike. And that one a little bit wide. Could have been a lot of things. Ended up being that. Certainly makeable. Really just throw the same shot.
I think so. It tried to be a 2-5-7, I think is what it really was meant to be. And the 2 rolled. Gets it right. He's got a chance. Oh, almost. There's some count and a mark back. Back down in the 30s in this match.
All right, so again, we have 12 matches going on across the house. If you're following the live scoring, if you see a blue scoring bar, those are the winners. There's 8 winners left. And if you see a red scoring bar, those are the elimination bracket matches. And the losers in those matches, or the non-winners, will be headed home.
Checking in the other winners bracket, Daryl Bauer against Harry Sullins. Bauer enjoying a 60-pin lead in that match. And Harry Sullins, 3 splits in his second game. You're looking at $1.80. Darrell on the same pace, but won the first game handily. So now we're down to a 20-pin match in 21-2, with Haugen doubling and Bobby Learn with that 5-7. And another flat 10. I think that was just a tad right of target for Haugen. Very frustrated. These guys both trying to fight this burn from the match before, from the sanded sponges being used ahead of them. That's what you see.
How about Chris Warren, though? 579 after 2.
That's
holy
sick.
cow.
So 221 for 800, buddy.
Holy moly. It's already 78 pins better than his opening round. And he's got a whole game to go. And he'll probably at least...
He could have won with 2 games first round.
I mean, obviously that makes the story that much better if he wins this whole thing, besides becoming the next bowler, the third bowler to win both Masters. To come back from that, it's a pretty phenomenal performance so far and still going.
Well, I think his versatility, I mean, he's a lot more comfortable in, swing in the middle, but he comes out on the fresh and whacks him too, so that just shows the experience of Chris Warren. And Haugen cannot get the roll on the 6-pin. Puts him in the 222 range. Learn looking at 236, 246 possible. That'll give Learn the 20-something pin lead. If he can double, it'll be in the 30s.
Walter Ray to our left in trouble here in game 2. He's got 3 opens and 7 frames.
Uh-oh.
And Keith Lesko, he's got 6 of the first 7. He's striking away. We'll get you a 2-game total here as soon as that game wraps up.
Let's go with a superior look on this. I would say one of the best looks in the building. Perhaps rivaling Norm Dukes. There's a 9-pin to stop Bobby from getting to the 240s. It'll be 236, 14 more onto his 8-pin lead. Gives him a 22-pin lead going into the last game, assuming he covers this 9-pin. Matt, never ceases to amaze me how these matches fly by. We're already into game 3. Just so much fun to watch.
A ton of strikes being thrown as well.
Well, that would help.
Certainly speeds up the pace.
And Haugen now needs to make something happen. What can he do to get carry on this left lane and avoid the beak on the right lane? Dead flush for Normie. Just cruising. And another ball change looks like for Haugen, and lays off, rewarded with a mixer 7-10. Bad break. And Michael tried to go a little weaker there, maybe a little straighter on that lane. Try to get the angle on the 10 pin, and unfortunately it laid off. And Normie trip 4. Weaker equipment, lays off. And Normie tried a different ball, something with a little bit more reaction. Let's see if he moves in a little bit, maybe ball up and move in, if you will. Bobby got one way out. Only a 2-8. Bobby's trying to tweak his line position, maybe some timing issues. Bobby misses the 2-8, goes behind it. I have to call that an unforced error, and gives Haugen's unfortunate 7-10 back to him. We're back to 22. Let's check in with our Cinderella story, Michael Calvin. Peter Knopp looks like he just threw a triple to take the lead in that match as Calvin opened in the 8th. And they're almost done with their second game. Normie stays with the more aggressive equipment in. Loops it out for a 10 pin. And some carry for Haugen. Much needed double. Byrne playing tricks for both of these guys.
Well, Haugen down 22 coming in, and now these guys even here to start game 3. Winners bracket match. Obviously after this we'll have 4 winners. That'll be 2 matches away from knowing who our #1 seed will be.
Bobby really fighting some physical issues. Maybe he's kind of rushing a little bit. You know, sometimes, Matt, you get a little bit inconsistent reaction on the front and you're not exactly sure where it's going, and all of a sudden things start to tighten up. Funny how all those physical ailments show up when your ball reaction isn't that great.
Bob Learn able to work with the advantage, and no doubt he's bowled an important match or two in his day. See if he can get composed here. Find his way back to the step ladder here at the Senior Masters.
And now we're down to a 12-pin match here with Haugen doubling and Bobby failing to match. That's a pretty good shot. Dead flush.
And to our left, Keith Lesko misses a single pin in the 10th, had a split in the 8th. And now that match is much closer than probably it should be. Lesko at 412. Walter Ray at 355, and likely very motivated here to figure something out in game 3.
Big shot for Haugen. 2-pin match now.
Chris Warren now, again, he's 221 for the first 800 of the event. He's got strike spare, 5-bagger.
Make it 6. He just struck.
All right, 6-bagger, so he'll be going into the 9th and 10th now. 800 pretty well in hand there.
And nice shot by Haugen. Took the weaker equipment, just laid it out there soft as can be. Right in on the track. Used the dry spot, dead flush. Gives him the lead. Haugen coming back from the 22-pin deficit to take the lead. And now Bobby, who's his own worst enemy on this, especially in this right lane. Let's see what he can do. How about split the 8-9? Take the lead back. Awesome shots by these guys. Bit left, lays off, high flush. Bobby Learn right up the piker. Huge double. Answers Haugen. Like a prize fight going on here. Haugen answers. Splits the 8-9. Back in the lead. Nice and soft. Slap 10. Michael Haugen adapting to the pattern. Frustrated by weak 10s on that left lane early on. And has the last 6. put his lead in the 17-pin category, I believe. 18. Well, they got one right. Wouldn't recover. Problem on the 2-pin for Bob, but a big miss. Leaves Haugen in the driver's seat. Remember last year when Bobby was in the finals here, he was averaging about 270 for his third game for his first 3 or 4 matches, including one against me. And that one hooked on the mid lane. He got it out into the dry, into the burn. Baby split. Back to the weaker ball, flat 10. Commanding lead over Jerry Smith in that match.
Nice little ho-hum, 847 series for Chris Warren in a 656 effort for Noel Vasquez in that match to stay alive for Chris Warren. Vasquez, terrific week, but he'll be headed out, finishing tied for 17th place.
So now, 22-pin lead, it belongs to Haugen. Just nips out the 2-pin and the 210. And that's 23-pin lead for Haugen now. Would make that a 40-pin swing this game. And Marks just might do it. And Norm, another 10-pin, fighting the burn a little bit. 847 is our first 800, not 8-0 or 18. It's 847 by Chris Warren on the burn. Great shot. Dead flush. Haugen in control. So Bobby can go out for 215. Plus his 21-pin lead gives him 237. And Haugen right now with spare strike goes 238. Haugen with a 23-pin lead. And Bobby absolutely must strike and goes mixer 7. And that just might do it. And if Bobby doubles Haugen, he can make Haugen mark, but Basically, Haugen in control. Walter making up a little bit of ground against Keith Lesko. Lesko with a triple, then an open. Walter with a triple, and then a 10 pin. So he made up 10 of those 60 pins he was down, but he's got a ways to go. Strike for Learn. There's a 4-pin. 194 maximum, plus his 22, 216. Michael Haugen doesn't even need to show up in the tent, just needs some count. Michael Haugen coming back the last game to win his match over Bob Learn Jr. Bobby fighting some timing issues, maybe a little balance, and both guys definitely fighting the burn that was there before them. And Normie back to the weak ball, back to the straight angle, and finds the double. So we're going to see Norm Duke and Michael Haugen remain undefeated. And so far it looks like Keith Lesko, that match not decided. Let's check in on the Bauer match. And Harry Sullins making a huge comeback in the last game, shooting 2-teen with Bauer with 153 in the ninth, but only needs to fill 13 pins to lock up the match. He just went through the beacon, left a 6-10. I believe he needs to make this to win. This is on 25 and 6, just to our right. And that's going to lock it up for Haugen.
All right, so things getting exciting here. Saw some big scores. 847, Chris Warren. He stays alive in the elimination bracket. Michael Haugen going to advance now to our final four in the winners bracket.
And Bauer makes a spare. Looks like he's going to hang on to move on.
Our next round of matches will be coming up at 1 p.m. local time, 4 p.m. on the East Coast, so about an hour and 15 minutes. We will not be showing our winners bracket. Next round, we'll be showing one elimination bracket match, and then we'll have our match for the number one seed coming up here on 21 and 22. That is at 6 p.m. Eastern later today. Haugen finishes it out for 258.
Great performance.
706. Bob Learn 663. Learn will go to the elimination bracket. Haugen moves on. Now we'll wait to see who he faces here in the next round. That match will take place on 13 and 14, again at 1 p.m., 4 p.m. Eastern.
Lesko just put his third strike together in the 6th, 7th, and 8th to all but end that discussion against Walter Ray, even though Walter Ray having a pretty good game. They're actually tied this game, which leaves Lesko with his 60-some pin lead. Michael Haugen, he's just so adaptable. He just reacts to what's in front of him, and he just makes the moves and makes the ball changes, and he's really just a practitioner at this game. And there's Normie after the flush 8. He's a 4-10, and here's Lesko just went through the beak for a baby split, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. Lesko converted that baby split. Heath Lesko, coming out of retirement, regional player, superior look, taking down the Giants, taking down Walter Ray this round. Jerry Smith finishing up on 19. It's a nice trip 4-7. And if Walter Ray is going to win his back-to-back, he's going to have to do it from the elimination bracket, Matt.
Well, not too far to go in the elimination bracket. Walter made it 3 rounds in the winner's bracket. So we'll have a little bit shorter path than somebody like Chris Warren.
Yeah.
Looks like 3 more elimination bracket matches and then the shootout.
Walter's going to end up 259 this game. But Lesko, even with an open at 2-10, that's going to do it. And Walter Ray at 6-14 ending up with the 259 the last game.
The winner's bracket non-winners this round actually get to sit around out. So they'll come back at 3 p.m. local time, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then they'll face the winners of our next elimination bracket round. And if you want to see the bracket and see how it unfolds, bowl.com/Senior Masters. It's all there. Winners bracket, elimination bracket. Norm Duke will be the winner over Jerry Smith. So Smith now will go to that same sit out around and they get back on the lanes at 3 p.m. scenario. And Mark Williams easily will defeat Seneval, the Swede. So it'll be Mark Williams and Chris Warren. How about that? It's be like the 1980s PBA TV show in here once again. And then the winner of that match would be the one who would take on Walter Ray.
And Lesko with 2:21 the last game. Going to give him 6:33. About a 20-pin winner over Walter Ray, but not nearly that close, with Walter shooting 259 that game, not able to overcome the lead by Lesko. So
the champ gave it a run, and we knew that he would. He figured something out after shooting 150 in game 2. Comes back with 259, so you see the clear frustration, but he knows now he'll head to the elimination bracket. He'll have to win 2 matches to get to that shootout now. But coming up in our next round, that'll be at 4 p.m. Eastern. We know for sure Mark Williams and Chris Warren still alive. 12 matches total happening right now.
It looks like the Calvin Canop match is very close. Canop just converted a 3-pin spare in the 9th, it looks like.
And Missoula with a huge win, 747-630 over Mika.
Wow.
Big comeback win after the opening of the 10th. Let Bob Learn slip by in the winner's bracket, so Missoula moves on.
And Peter Canop just running one out in the 10th.
Got awfully quiet in here as there's just a couple of matches going on the very far end. Clark and Canop. Moore and Miyamoto. Badavinik and Sims. And it looks like Badavinik is going to beat Sims pretty handily. So the past Team USA member moves on. Great run for Sims. Lenny Boris, 748 set over Don Breeden.
And Canop is going to end up 655. And Calvin with a double goes 669, so I think Calvin needs the first one here. Yeah, Calvin's going to need the first one in the 10th here to win this match against Peter Canop. Do a lot of on-the-fly math here in the booth.
Well, and then we're still a frame or two behind on the live scoring, so a little bit of a challenge there. Canop 655, as you said.
And Calvin struck. I think that puts him in the high 650s.
Badavinik 681. Sims 591 final score there. Boris wins by 80 pins.
So thinking that Calvin just needs count here. Our Cinderella story, staying alive against Peter Canop. He flushed the second one. Michael Calvin moves on. Staying alive in the elimination bracket.
Our final shot in that match coming up. We'll have the official tally for you in just one moment. And then last match is Moore Miyamoto. And Daniel Miyamoto threw a gutter ball late in the game.
Really?
So that match pretty close. Final score, Nop Calvin. Looks like 669, 655 as predicted. Calvin advances, or stays alive.
The math works.
The math works. There you have it. So one more match to go. Final shots coming up there for Miyamoto. He finishes with 656. Ron Moore working on 3 strikes going into the 10th frame.
I'm thinking Moore might need the first one here.
It sounded like he delivered one just now.
Yeah, we're
But
behind on the scoring though.
They're way down on 37 and 8.
He got the first one. Yeah, more well in hand in that match. He's going to be in the 680s. It looks like Moore doubled in the 10th. Go 246. So we add 120 onto that 575. We get 695. Will be his final score. He'll win that match by almost 40 over Miyamoto.
All right, so Miyamoto started that game with the front 6. 7 spare, strike, and then gutter spare. Ended up with 245.
And indeed, 695 for Moore.
All right, there it is. Final score, final match, 695, 656. That is going to do it for this round of match play. Next round is in about an hour and 10 minutes. 1 o'clock local time, 4 o'clock Eastern. We look forward to having everybody back here for more coverage of the 2018 USBC Senior Masters here at Sam's Town Bowling Center in Las Vegas. My name is Matt Canizaro alongside Bruce Hall. And, of course, the hardest worker today, our live scoring here at Sam's Town. We look forward to some more exciting matches. We just lost 8 more players, 16 remaining in this year's Senior Masters. Who's it going to be? We'll have the bracket updated online here very shortly. We're going to step back. We'll be back again with the new event here set up in just over an hour, folks. Thank you for tuning in. We do appreciate it. That is the news for now, and we'll see you on the lanes.